Good afternoon from Germany. I am back after the holiday in Germany yesterday. It's time to go back to the market and to the numbers. We have JOLTs job openings today and the Federal Reserve meeting tomorrow. So a lot of news this week. It will be interesting together with all the earnings data. And of course from the banking sector with the sell of First Republic Bank to JP Morgan over the weekend. Again, it was a rescue and they bought it for, I think it was 10.6 billion, but the FDIC sized the whole company, the whole bank, and then sold it in a fire sale to JP Morgan. So probably all the shareholders will lose everything. But before we will come to FRC, let's first have a look at the markets, because in 15 minutes we will already see the numbers. Therefore, let's prepare with here our Nasdaq chart. You see I'm still short. We are near the highs here. 13,300 was the high yesterday, 13,367 points. So we are above the moving averages now, parabolic turn to an uptrend. But of course, everyone is waiting for the interest rate decision tomorrow from the FOMC meeting. And then we can still turn to the downside. We are still sideways trading here at the upper boundaries. But I still believe that we just need about 4 to 5 weeks and then we will be in a recession. And therefore I will stick to my short position here. Let's see what the market will bring us tomorrow. I don't believe that we will see a big move today with the numbers, but maybe we'll see again a sign for an incoming recession. So let's prepare with the levels. The high point of yesterday will probably be a resistance to the upper side here, 13,367 points. The low point of yesterday, of course, will be maybe a support. And then we will have, I will just redraw everything. So then we have the Fibonacci levels from the high point yesterday to the low point here of April 25th. And the support from yesterday. So maybe a support here between 13,220 and 250. This could be a nice support range today. And if not, then we will still have the 20 EMA and 9 EMA level here below as a support right above the 13,000 level. So I'm not believing that the market will move a lot today on JOLTs job openings, but let's see the expectation of the market first. So JOLTs job openings for March is 9.775 million, so lower than it was in February. So let's just see the numbers in details. So we had higher than expected numbers in the previous month, but in the previous month in April for the February numbers, the first time we had lower than expected numbers, as you can see 9.9 million instead of 10.4. So this time the expectation is lower, 9.775 million. Let's see if the number can be lower again. And yes, this would mean a cool down of the job market. And this is what the Federal Reserve wants to see. So less fear of higher inflation and less need for higher interest rates. But it would also be a sign for a recession. So let's wait and see. The current expectation is 91.5% for a 25 basis points rate hike tomorrow. And only 8.5% for no change. So you see almost everyone is expecting that we will see another rate hike tomorrow. And then we will probably stay there until September and go to lower levels and back to 4.75% in December. So let's see if Jerome Powell will say the same what the market is expecting right now. Because in the previous two meetings, he always said no, there won't be any lower interest rate until the end of 2023, but the market is expecting 2 times lower interest rates at the end of this year. And if Jerome Powell is not giving any signs of lower interest rates at the end of the year, yeah, we could see a drop in the stock market if he will still be hawkish. What means that he says, yeah, we will stay at 5.25% or even go to higher levels. So it will be interesting, especially the press conference where he will answer some questions from the journalists. Okay, 10 minutes until we see the news. Let's move on with some commodities. So we had the bounce back here from crude oil after we hit the 50% Fibonacci level. Then we went back to high points of $76.92. And currently we are moving to new lows below the $74 area. So we see a lot more weakness in the crude oil market than we see in the stock market at the moment. And yeah, normally this is a good sign that we see a cool down in economy because there's less demand. And therefore this should also affect the stock market soon. So next target would be here, the previous high point, as we can see here, $71.80, which is right here at the 61.8% Fibonacci level. So still a little bit of room to the downside, 2.1%. And we were discussing this in the previous week. I said I wouldn't go to into a long trade, into a short trend here, and would rather wait for higher levels to short it again. So I didn't short it, but you see I was right. It's still in a downtrend here, a clear downtrend, and therefore don't go long against the trend. Just go with the trend. And because we just broke the $74 area, this is now a nice level to enter new short trades here for potential lower levels here. So next target, $71.80. Natural gas, also interesting. I have no position at the moment, but I'm waiting for a retest of the previous lows here between 217 and 220, and then I will probably take some long trades again. Implied volatility is not so good for short put, for option trades, but you see there were sometimes big moves like here on April 28th. So this was an 8 or 9% move to the upside, and then we also saw lower levels, so a lot of volatility here. And I believe that we will see a bounce here. When we retest the 215 to 17 level, we will probably see a bounce back to 230, to maybe 240. And this is a nice risk-reward ratio, and therefore I want to take some long trades here in this area. Yes, I know it's spring, and we have no more need during the winter for natural gas now, but yeah, we need also natural gas for cooling in the summer. And if we will get hot weather in the summer, then we can still see higher prices here during the next month for natural gas. Then we had some stocks here which are interesting. I opened a long put position in Tesla. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too early, so I opened it when we went back here to the $160 level, and then we made higher highs on Friday at 165. We are currently retesting this level here. So these were around the previous low point. So it's an interesting level to look for new shorts. And I just bought a 145 strike long put expiring in June. So you see a low implied volatility. So these puts were very cheap, and when the stock market is coming down after the FOMC meeting, then probably also Tesla will dip a little bit here. Let's just see, be patient and wait. It's a long put, so time is running against me this time, but I think I bought it really cheap here with a low implied volatility, and when the stock is coming to lower levels and implied volatility is raising, then I can make some money here. The same with Nvidia. I was already in the green, 30 or 35%, but unfortunately the stock always tested this $280 range. And look, yesterday there was a big move yesterday. This was a 3.5% move yesterday, and it closed right at the upper boundary, $290. We were talking about this level for several weeks now. Look at this. The previous 4 or 5 weeks we tested 280 to get back into this resistance area. There was the previous high point, and now we closed at 290. So I bought some more of my puts. I had 200 and I think it is 235 strike puts, yes. 235 strike puts, but my target would be 220 and the main target even 200. So there's a lot of room to the downside. If the stock market is pulling back, then probably Nvidia will pull back as well. So we are at the highest point of this resistance zone, and therefore I believe that now is a nice point to enter some shorts or just buy some long puts, because implied volatility is still low. It's rising, it's already rising, but it's still low compared to the previous 1 year of Nvidia. Yeah, so this is what I'm currently trading. Then I have another position in sugar. Where's my sugar chart? Here. So I still have a 30 strike short call in sugar. So the prices were coming to lower levels yesterday, 3.6% or 3.7% yesterday. It's rising again, 1.3% today. But let's see. So finally there has to be a high point someday. There's no clear sign yet, but at least I can make some money just by the prices going sideways or the time going by, because I sold an option and therefore time is in my favor. Wheat price is also interesting, dipping the, I don't know how many consecutive days, but this is an interesting candle. Look at this today. So we went to the 600 level on point 600.00, and now we are going back to the opening price. So I bought some more 700 strike calls and sold some 585 strike puts, the same position I had before. So I lowered my entry price levels and I'm in a risk reversal trade right now, aiming at 700 or above, because in about 2 weeks that we will have again the discussion between the Russians and Western European countries for Ukrainian wheat export from or through the Black Sea, and therefore it will be interesting, because I believe that the Russians won't take it easy this time, and therefore it could affect the market prices in the next 2 weeks. So let's see what will happen here. For now we have enough wheat on the market, and therefore the prices are dropping pretty fast, but I believe in the next 2 weeks it can change pretty fast and we can come back to the 700 cent level, and therefore my long call can profit and as well my short put. Nvidia 300, yes Ralph, I know you told me Nvidia will reach $300, but I still don't believe we will get there. Let's see who is right, but I'm in my long put position for Nvidia, and therefore yeah, I have taken a decision that I believe Nvidia will go down. What else do we have? Yeah, Euro US dollar, also interesting, retesting the previous Fibonacci level. So again failed here at the upper side, so just retested it, went a little bit above and then was sold off in the previous 3 trading days. Is testing the next Fibonacci level, and if we sell below then probably retest lower levels, exactly what I was expecting. So just waiting here for lower levels to come. TLT, the bonds, also went to lower levels because of the dividend payment here, but as well because of higher expected interest rates. So especially when Jerome Powell is talking tomorrow about a longer and higher interest rates at high levels, then the TLT will probably drop more. But now let's go to the news with Nasdaq on a 1 minute time frame and see JOLTs job openings. So here we will see in a few seconds the JOLTs job opening number. 2 seconds left. Here's the number. News are out. Let's see what is happening here. No big movement right now. Still trading below 13,300. The number's already there. Yeah, here it is. A little bit lower than expected, 9.59 million. This is a good sign. This is what the Federal Reserve wants to see, but as well, this is a first sign to a recession because the numbers are lower than the forecast. Still good numbers, but yeah, you see a slowdown in the job market, and this is a first sign for a recession. So let's wait and see. The job market is always the last number where we can see the recession signs, but especially with the inflation and other numbers, we will probably see in the next weeks if this recession is coming fast. So retested 13,300, trading below VWAP, was rejected there. We are at this tipping point now. So yes, the market is partying that we see lower than expected numbers, therefore less fear of high inflation and higher interest rate levels. But as well, there is now the fear of this incoming recession. And therefore, it's sometimes difficult to interpret the numbers for the market. 94% expectation now for 25 basis points rate hike tomorrow. Factory orders lower than expected. And market is dipping a little bit. This is a good sign. But I believe that we will just trade sideways until we get the decision tomorrow. And then during the press conference, we will probably see the new direction. So probably we will have to wait one more day to see the direction tomorrow. Yes, I still have my Nasdaq shorts. You can see here 27 shorts in M&Q futures, micro Nasdaq, and I also have some NQ shorts. Okay, what else do we have? Let's have a look on ES future. S&P 500 is as well at the upper boundaries. We just went a little bit above. So previous high point was near 4,200, and yesterday we had high points at 4,206 points, but we are already trading lower by half a percentage point today, retesting the 9 EMA level. So there will be taking a decision as well tomorrow probably. We are trading within the sideways range as well, like with Nasdaq. So just waiting for the decision tomorrow. The same for WIX. It's rising today by 7% back to 17.2, but we had low points yesterday at 15.5, so pretty low. So there's a lot of room to rise again if the fear is coming back into the market, but there's no sign of fear at the moment. Yes, then German DAX here. German DAX went back above 16,000 this week. Let's see on a daily time frame here. So we went above 16,000 today, 16,038 points, but it's dropping 0.8% right now. So finally we made it back above 16,000, but it was sold off right away. It was a strong candle yesterday with a big wick on the downside, and therefore we managed to break the 16,000 area. But yeah, we couldn't reach back to the previous high points. We see here on a weekly time frame here, previous high point 16,287 points. So still 200 points room to the highest point, but maybe we won't reach this high point. So it's getting into more difficult territory here, and more resistances are coming in, especially the psychological 16,000 level. Therefore, it can be that this level will be sold off right away tomorrow after the FOMC meeting. Sugar, we already talked about sugar, yes. Still waiting to take on new short futures, but for now I just have my 30 strike short calls. Orange juice, the same, just waiting, but it's at an interesting level right now. So selling 1% to the downside today, so probably retest the 260 and maybe trade lower here. Then it's interesting to take on new shorts because we will leave the sideways trading phase here. So it's interesting to watch this as well. Gold was also interesting, still sideways trading here. So still struggling at the $2,000 level here for June future. But probably in the next days or weeks we will see a decision probably to the downside below 1980. Yeah, because I believe when Jerome Powell is speaking hawkish and talking about high interest rate level until the end of the year, this should bring down the whole market and as well gold prices because of the high opportunity cost with high interest rate levels. Soybean futures, yes, I can also talk about soybeans. So let's bring up this chart here as well. Soybean futures, July charts, new chart. So this is a weekly time frame for soybean futures, and there we see, technically we are trading to lower levels right now, but we are also trading into a triangular. So look at this. So this was an uptrend, this is a downtrend. So we are trading into a triangular, so probably we will see less volatility in the next weeks, and then finally find a decision to the up or downside here. So when we go to a daily time frame, it's looking a little bit more bullish, but you see there were some days selling off here. So probably we will see a small range here where we will trade in and then see a breakout. So if I go back to Finwiz, we can have a look at the commercials for soybeans on a weekly time frame, and there we see commercials have less short positions now, so almost 0 positions, so nothing big from this side here. They are not really short anymore, and they can still turn bullish here. Let's see it on a monthly time frame. Yeah, they're pretty bullish compared to the previous 3 years. As you can see, they were a lot more bearish in the previous three years. And therefore we can see this breakout to the upside, but you can also see on a monthly time frame that we are in this triangular. So probably soon, in several days or weeks, we will see the breakout, potentially to the upside. But you never know who will win this race here for soybeans, but I can take it on my watch list. Okay, do you have other stocks you want me to analyze? Then just let me know. Let's talk about First Republic. So here the trading was halted, therefore we have no more prices yet. But you see, we were trading to lows on Friday of $2.30 after the market had closed, and then the trading was halted on Monday pre-market. Implied volatility was above 500%. I have some stocks and some short puts left here, but yeah, probably they will be worthless, and therefore I will lose the amount, but that's okay. It's already written off, and I can get profits back in with other underlyings here. Then we talked about the top, an interesting stock which rallied in the previous days. In the previous week, we went to high points of $260, and then the next day we retested here this area, $256, and then it sold off back here to low points of $48.60. And you see the same pattern here, so it's a support here at the $50 range, but you clearly see it's selling off right now, and we will probably soon retest the lows at $10 again if we sell below $50 here. It's a low volume stock, and therefore there was this big push to the upside. It's a low float stock, but and nothing really worthy behind, just the Chinese stock here for top. Then there's something else interesting. We already talked about Activision Blizzard in the previous week here, so it's probably retesting the low points here at $76. But I still believe it's a worthy stock in long term, because they will get $3 billion as a breakup fee from Microsoft if this deal won't happen, and this takeover will be blown away. So $3 billion is better than nothing, and it's still a good company, so they can stay on their own feet, and therefore I believe it's still worthy. And there was this sell-off here after the British government gave their no to the deal, 11% to the downside. But I believe in long term, Activision Blizzard is still a worthy company here. Yeah, that's it for now. So nothing else to tell you. Yeah, we talked about NIO. They are selling off 4% today. So let's see if they are finally trading to lower levels and break the previous low points here, or if they will find a bottom here. You see the previous high points were around $10, and we are already trading at $7.50 here. Then the lower levels here are high points of $5.65. So probably this could be the next support here, right above the $5 area. So a lot of potential to the downside if we sell to lower levels here below the monthly lows from the previous month. But it's still on my watch list because I think it's an interesting stock long term. But yes, it's an ADR stock, a Chinese stock, and therefore, yeah, always some difficulties if we get more difficulties between the US and Chinese government, and therefore I'm cautious with NIO stock. Okay, folks, I think this was the most interesting thing. I will try to live stream tomorrow the Federal Reserve meeting and the interest rate decision, and then we can talk again about the interesting things and the answering of the questions from Jerome Powell, because this will move the market for sure. So I hope you can make some decent profit. Let's meet tomorrow again. And if you haven't done so far, then please subscribe to my channel. And of course, give this stream a like if you had some nice insights. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.